I was interested in the way in which you reconciled the story of natural selection and Darwinian evolution, appropriately modified, with the Quranic insights about human anthropology. And what surprised me a little bit is that my impression is the vast majority of Islamic thinkers are very suspicious of the sort of ideological baggage that Darwinian evolution has in the West, and view it therefore with a lot of suspicion and are often very, very critical of it. But you seem to be quite happy to talk about the fact that certainly the animal, human, did evolve from, animals, and it was in some point in that process we were given a spirit. And how do you find that? Do you find you have a lot of sympathy in the Islamic world for these positions, or do you find that you are often criticized for them?
Thank you very much. Firstly, please note that I do believe in evolution, but not in Darwinian evolution. Evolution is something else, and the mode through which it has taken place is something else. The struggle for existence and the survival of the fittest and natural selection, and that automatically changes one species to another, this is wrong. At every change of species, we need another kun from God. And this, the mechanism of Darwinian evolution has not been proved, and not very much liked in the biological areas, in the academia. So every time we have to have a kun, and that change becomes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now actually the damage that Darwinian evolution has done to humanity is because of the focus on the animal being only. Man is not an animal being only. He is a spiritual being also. And that is out from the discussions or studies or quest of the scholars. This spiritual existence has not come through evolution. It is direct from Allah, direct from God. So because I said it is the calamity and the tragedy of modern mind, that we have just shut our eyes from that side. And now, if we are only animals, now we can follow animals. Animals don't discriminate between wife and mother and daughter. Why should we? They don't take the trouble of dressing. Why should we? This civilization has gone down to the animal level because the other aspect is absolutely out of sight. Now, whole sociology, whole thought is focused on the animal being. That's all. So that is the reason why Muslims don't agree with it. But if we have this idea that these two things are separate, this animal being has come through evolution, but for every change in the species was due to another new fresh command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Kun. And so it has happened.
As he says here, the idea he gave about evolution is quite convincing. Now first let me explain the involvement in the kun, or the order of the God, which he is using a lot of times. Now by the kun he means the order of God, and he is saying that life cannot develop by chance. It cannot have been developed just by chance about 2 billion years back when Earth was a barren land. It was through the order of God. He ordered life to be found. He ordered life to be created. Then it was through his orders that life began. Life started to turn into or evolve into complex living things that live nowadays. And then he says how he disagrees with the Darwinian evolution. This is an interesting topic, as he says that The Darwinian evolution only focuses on the development of the animal being of a human only. The animal being. And what is the animal being of a human? That is our body. Our body is really similar to that of every living thing that lives nowadays. As DNA evidence finds, we are related to apes. So, the body of a human is an animal being. But what is a spiritual human? A spiritual human is the soul of a human, and this is the thing that is only present in humans, the soul. And the spirituality of a human is determined as human is a spiritual being. It is a spiritual being. A human, what determines the spirituality of a human being is that it feels the complex emotions of shame, of humiliation, of guilt. These are the emotions that only human can feel. If you look at if a dog kills another dog, it won't have the slightest feeling of guilt. But if a man kills another man, he will feel guilt that I killed another person. Even let's suppose it was over a chocolate cake. If a person kills another person over just a chocolate cake, he will feel humiliation. He will feel guilt that he killed another person over such a small thing. Now, if you place animals here instead, like elephants or other animals, they won't feel guilt. They will think they will just get along with it. They will eat the cake and go on about their day. This is an example of what makes us human. If there is no spiritual being of a human, then why do we have to experience guilt, experience humiliation, experience shame? Then why don't we act like what animals do? Why don't we just kill each other over slightest excuses, which many people do, but they do have a slightest feeling of guilt, and the guilt is experienced only in humans. There are many examples of shame and humiliation that only humans can experience, not animals, as Dr. Israr Ahmed has explained in his video. So that's all for today. Have a nice day and goodbye.